From the very first moment this question appeared across online communities, tension escalated. The name Jin, one of the most admired figures in the global music industry, has never been detached from speculation, but the latest wave of suspicion surrounding his connection with HYBE strikes a deeper nerve. Something does not feel ordinary. The atmosphere around every move, every decision, and every unexplained silence has left millions of fans in a state of restless questioning. Could it be that there is indeed more than meets the eye? Or is the speculation a reflection of the inseparable bond between an idol and his global audience, where even the smallest shift triggers widespread scrutiny? Observers point to an unsettling sequence of moments. Whenever Jin appears in public or through limited media interactions, his aura remains radiant, yet a subtle distance seems to linger between him and the corporation that shaped his path. Fans are not merely passive consumers, they are active analysts. Every gesture, every delay in communication, every unexplained adjustment in promotion becomes a clue. And those clues, when arranged together, form a pattern that raises eyebrows. Why has there been such a controlled approach in shaping Jin's presence compared to the explosive promotion strategies used for others? Why do fans feel a silence too heavy to be ignored? The questions sharpen when considering the scale of Jin's influence. He is not a newcomer struggling to be heard. He is a figure who can fill arenas, crash digital platforms, and dominate global charts with minimal exposure. And yet, some fans argue that HYBE appears reluctant to unleash his full potential. Why? Is there a hidden strategy, or is there something more fragile beneath the surface? An issue too sensitive to be openly discussed? The more silence is maintained, the louder the speculation grows. And speculation, once ignited in the world of entertainment, spreads like wildfire. For many armies, the loyalty toward Jin is absolute, but loyalty does not erase suspicion. Fans have noticed sudden inconsistencies, abrupt changes in schedules, unexplained absences, content that feels restricted rather than liberated. Each time this occurs, the collective reaction becomes more urgent. Are these normal occurrences within a corporate framework, or are they signals of an internal tug-of-war between individual artistry and organizational control? The emotional weight behind these questions makes them difficult to dismiss. Adding to the intrigue is the timing. In moments when fans expect openness, there is restraint. In moments when fans anticipate celebration, there is caution. The delicate balance between Jin's independent identity and HYBE's corporate machinery has never felt more fragile. Could it be that HYBE is holding back certain revelations? Could there be negotiations, conflicts, or disagreements that cannot be disclosed publicly? Fans are not naive. They know the entertainment industry is built not only on talent, but also on power. And where power exists, so does the risk of concealment. The sense of unease is intensified by comparisons. Why do other artists within the same structure receive waves of transparent promotion, while Jin's trajectory seems wrapped in ambiguity? The contrast fuels theories. Some argue that HYBE may be protecting Jin by limiting overexposure, while others suggest that internal disagreements may have forced an unusual approach. Either way, fans refuse to accept silence as an answer. They demand clarity, and until clarity arrives, suspicion remains the dominant narrative. As fans continue to dissect these signals, their emotional investment becomes part of the story. The global army is not merely curious, they are protective. For them, Jin represents not just an idol, but a human being who deserves fairness, visibility, and respect. When patterns emerge that suggest otherwise, their response is fierce. They rally, they demand, they refuse to let unanswered questions fade away. This dynamic, though fueled by speculation, highlights the profound relationship between artist and audience. It is a relationship that cannot be controlled by corporate boundaries alone, and so the central question persists: what is being hidden and why? Is it a matter of strategy, timing, or something far more complex? Without transparency, every gap becomes filled with theory. Without explanation, every silence becomes interpreted as intentional. This is the dangerous nature of ambiguity in the entertainment world. It breeds more attention, more speculation, and ironically, more pressure on the very institution that may be trying to control the narrative for now. Fans remain restless, waiting for a moment when the veil is lifted. Until then, every move between Jin and HYBE will be magnified under the global microscope. The suspicion that something is being concealed will not fade easily, because suspicion thrives in shadows. And in this case, the shadows are impossible to ignore. The longer the silence continues, the more intense the speculation becomes. In entertainment, transparency is often presented as a shield, yet in this case, the absence of clear communication feels like an intentional wall. Why would a corporation risk creating such a vacuum of trust between itself and the millions who follow every step of one of its most valuable figures? Fans argue that silence is not neutral, it is a statement in itself. And when that silence surrounds Jin, the weight of interpretation becomes impossible to dismiss. Every sudden cancellation, every unexplained delay, every carefully curated appearance adds to the unease. Supporters have compiled timelines, tracked patterns, and compared data from previous years. The conclusion they present is alarming. Something has shifted. It is not a matter of ordinary industry fluctuations. It is a matter of deliberate restraint. Was this restraint designed to protect Jin? Or was it designed to protect the company from something it cannot afford to reveal? The very structure of HYBE, known for its meticulous planning and aggressive promotion strategies, makes this situation stand out. When the corporation wishes to push a narrative, it does so with relentless force. Campaigns are global, synchronized, and impossible to ignore. Yet with Jin, there are gaps, moments when fans expected campaigns that never materialized, or content that felt incomplete, almost unfinished. Such discrepancies raise a disturbing possibility. Perhaps HYBE is not merely withholding, but actively controlling Jin's trajectory in ways fans were not prepared to confront. And here lies the core of the anxiety. Jin is not only a performer, he is an emblem of resilience, discipline, and authenticity. His image is clean, his reputation intact, his bond with ARMY unshakable. So why does it seem as though that very strength is being contained rather than celebrated? Could there be internal disagreements about his future direction? Could decisions be taking place behind closed doors that place corporate interest above individual artistry? These questions cannot be answered by guesswork, yet they dominate every conversation among fans. Observers note that HYBE thrives on precision. Nothing is left to chance. If fans sense irregularities, they are rarely mistaken. And in this case, the irregularities surrounding Jin are too visible to ignore. Each decision feels calculated, but calculated for what purpose? To delay? To distract? To conceal? The more one examines the situation, the clearer it becomes that fans are not simply being paranoid. They are responding to a pattern that demands explanation. What complicates the narrative further is Jin's silence. He is known for his warmth, his humor, his willingness to connect with ARMY. But lately, his public words have been rare, measured, and sometimes entirely absent. Silence from an artist of his caliber is not ordinary. Fans wonder, is this silence his choice, or is it the result of restrictions placed upon him? If it is his choice, it signals a man burdened by circumstances beyond his control. If it is imposed, it reveals a corporate mechanism designed to keep truths from surfacing. Either scenario intensifies the suspicion that something critical remains hidden. The tension is magnified by contrast. Compare Jin's visibility with others in the same environment. The difference is not subtle, it is glaring. Some artists receive an unbroken stream of content, interviews, and exposure, while Jin's narrative appears interrupted, restrained, paused. Fans ask the inevitable question: why? What could justify such disparity when his global influence is undeniable? The most haunting suspicion is that HYBE has reasons it cannot articulate publicly, reasons that, if revealed, would alter the perception of both the company and its most loyal star. In an industry built on image, secrecy can be both protection and prison. If Jin is being shielded, fans argue that shielding should not come at the cost of erasing his presence. If Jin is being restricted, fans question whether corporate control has crossed a line. Either way, the lack of clarity is a strategy that is backfiring. Instead of calming the audience, it has fueled an atmosphere of distrust, speculation, and even quiet anger. And this distrust is not confined to whispers on fan forums. It is spreading across global media, amplified by every unanswered question and every unexplained decision. The world is watching not only Jin but also HYBE, measuring their every move. With each passing day, the company risks more than just fan frustration. It risks damaging the trust that underpins its entire empire. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to repair. So the questions stand sharper than ever. What is HYBE hiding? Why does Jin's path appear so carefully managed, yet so strangely muted? Why does silence dominate where clarity should reign? Until answers surface, suspicion will only grow, and fans, armed with loyalty and determination, will not stop asking. They will push, they will demand, and they will not accept shadows as substitutes for truth. The bond between Jin and ARMY has always been more powerful than any corporate structure. It is this bond that fuels the suspicion, the scrutiny, and the refusal to remain passive. Fans know something is amiss, and they are determined to uncover it. In a world where information can no longer be controlled, the truth, whatever it may be, cannot remain buried forever.